Hello everyone, in this video I will show you a step by step how you can fill your UK visitor visa application on your own. You do not need to pay any money to any agent, you can file it on your own. When you go to any agent, they not only charge you money but they also don't have your complete information. But it is very important that you should have complete control over your visa application form, and if somebody else is filling it for you, you should still cross verify that every information that he has inputted is correct. First thing that I want you to do is that open your Chrome browser and type UK visa. Click on the first link from government.uk. Scroll down. Since we are applying for visitor visa, we will click on standard visitor visa. Scroll down. Click on apply for a standard visitor visa. Scroll down. So over here you see the length of your visa. So if you're applying for 6-month standard visitor visa, which means that if you want your visa to be valid for 6 months, you can apply for a standard visitor visa and it will cost you £115. As you can see that if you are applying for longer standard visitor visa, then it will start costing you more money. So if you are applying for 10-year standard visitor visa and with each visit you can visit up to 6 months, then you should be paying £963. So based on your own requirement, you can apply for any kind of visa. Now we'll click on apply now. Now this is the language section, so I'm comfortable with English. I will click on English. You should be selecting any language that you are comfortable in and click on next. Now this part is about biometrics. Biometrics is basically once you fill your UK visa application form, you need to go and get your photo clicked. You need to get your fingerprints done. This is what is called biometrics. So for this you need to go to some place. This is usually the visa application center operated by, if you're talking about India, VFS. So you need to find the place where you can get your biometrics done. So if you're from India, you should be getting your biometrics done in India. We'll click on India and we'll click on next. Scroll down. Now over here, if you click on find a visa application center, you can find if there is a VFS center or UK visa application center in your country or not. So if you click on this link, find a visa application center, and if you scroll down, based on your own country, you can click on that and you can see that if there is visa application center in your country, in your location or not. Since I'm from India, I will click on India. So in India, you can see that you have visa application center in all this location. So I'll go back over here. I will click on, I have identified the location where I will provide my biometrics. I will click on next. Click on start now. Now you need to give your email address. So next question, who does this email address belong to? Me. I'll click on save and continue. Do you have another email address? If you have another email address, you can give it over here. If not, you can select no. Now they are asking you for your telephone number. So if you are from India, you should be giving your country code first and then you should be giving your telephone number. If you are from different country, again you should give your country code first and then your telephone number. I intend to use this telephone number while I'm in UK as well as while I am out of UK. So if you don't intend to use it while you are in UK, then you can, opt out of the first one and just keep the second one. Now this is asking like this telephone number, is this your home telephone number or mobile telephone number? So this is my mobile telephone number. Save and continue. I don't have any other additional telephone number, but if you have any additional telephone number and if you want to give details about that, you can click on yes and they will ask you for the additional telephone number as well, but I will select no. Save and continue. Scroll down. So how do you want them to contact you? Do you want them to just text you, call you, or they can do either? So I can be contacted by call as well as text, so I will be selecting the first one. Save and continue. Scroll down. Now this is from where the main part of your visa application form starts. Over here you need to give your first name and then you need to give your family name. So your given name is basically your main name. So let's say my name is Danish, so I will give my name Danish over here. And this is your surname, so let's say my surname is IFT, so I will give IFT. I will click on save and continue. Scroll down. This section applies only to those who have changed their name. So if you had some other name in the past, now you have changed your name, that is when this section apply. So have you ever been known by another name? So no, I have never been known by another name. If you have been known by another name in past, make sure that it is legal they are talking about, not pet name or nickname. So you should be selecting no if you have never changed your name. Click on save and continue. Scroll down. I'm a male, so this is asking you for your sex. If you are male or female, select accordingly. Relationship status, I'm single. If you're married, then you need to select you married, and then you need to give your partner details as well. I'm single, so I will be selecting single. Save and continue. Now this section is about address. So when we talk about address, there is one permanent address that we have, and then there is one current address that we have. So current address, like for example, I am staying for job purpose, let's say for 6 months at one location. So that is my current address. But I will go back to my permanent address, which is my permanent address. So what I generally prefer is that when they ask for my address, I generally give my permanent address over here, which is same as my passport address in my case. So I will type in my permanent address over here. So other than my permanent address, I also have my current address, and if I want UK visa application team to reach out to me, I want them to reach out to me on my current address. If that is the case, so is this address also your correspondence address? I will select no over here. So my permanent address is not the address where I want them to send me any communication or anything. So I will select no. If I select no, I need to give my current address as well, and this is where they will send any communication if they were to. So let's fill these details over here. So I have filled my details. So this is, let's say, my passport address, my permanent address. I've given my address, city, state, zip code, postal code, country, and then I've also selected no over here, and then I will have to give my current address as well. So I gave my current address over here, and after that you can click on save and continue. Next question, how long have you lived at this address? So this is basically asking you for your permanent address over here. How long have you lived at that address? So there could be many things. You could be owning the place, you could be renting the place, you could be living with your parents. So if you are living with your parents, it doesn't mean that you are owning the place. You will select other over here if you are living with your parents. So if you are living with your parents and the place is in the name of your parents, so you should specify it over here that I am living with my parents and the place is owned by my father. If the place is owned by your grandfather, for example, then you can mention I'm living with my family at this place and this is my ancestral property. So this is when you are living with your parents or grandparents. If you own the place, you can select I own it. If you rent it, you can select I rent it. In that case, you do not need to give any details. If you select others, you need to give details. How long have you lived at this address? So this part is your days, week, months, year. So if you have lived for 6 months, you can click on months and click on 6. If you have lived for all your life, you can click on years, and if you're 28 years, that will be 28. Scroll down, I will click on I own it, save and continue. Now this is your passport section. Any details that is in your passport, you need to exactly make sure that it is over here. So by your passport number, place where your passport was issued, this will be on your passport, place of issue. So in my passport it is Kolkata, so in your passport it could be something else, so type it accordingly. Issue date, when your passport was issued. Expiry date, when it will get expire. So these are some basic details. So I have filled this detail over here. I'll click on save and continue. Identity card. So do you have a valid national identity card? So this question is really not that important from Indian perspective because India does not have national identity card, but we are using our Aadhaar card as the national identity card as of now. So every country has a different requirement for this. Some country has national identity card, so you can fill your national identity card details over here. In our Aadhaar card, we do not see an expiry date. So I don't think we should be putting in Aadhaar details over here. So what you can do is that you can, replicate your passport details over here as well. It is not a big issue. So I will again fill my passport details over here. Issue date, expiry date, issuing authority Kolkata. This will be your passport number. This is for Indians. If you are from any other country and if you have national identity card, you can fill your national identity card details over here. So I filled the details. I'll click on save and continue. Scroll down. So this is about your nationality. So I am Indian. I will select India as my nationality. Country of birth, I was born in India. So place of birth. So remember that you should be inputting whatever is in your passport. So if in my passport it is written Kolkata, India, so I will type this. So open your passport, look at it and type exactly how it is shown on your passport. And then my date of birth. So let's say I'm giving any random number over here. Click on save and continue. This is like, for if you are Indian, the answer to this question will obviously be no, because an Indian cannot hold dual citizenship. But if you are from any other country and if you have dual citizenship, then you should select yes and give details. I'm Indian, I do not have any dual citizenship. I'll select no, click on save and continue. So this is the employment status. So everybody will have different answer to this. Maybe you are watching this video and you are retired, so you should click on retired. If you are unemployed, you should select unemployed. A student, employed, self-employed. If you are running your own business, you should select self-employed. I will select employed, so I'll click on employed and save and continue. But when you select employed, you need to give your employer details as well. So the company that you are currently working, that is your employer's name. It could be Google, Facebook, or any company that you are working for. The employer's address, employer's telephone number, and when you started working for that employer. Let me fill these details as well. So I have filled these details over here. I have given the employer name, the employer address, telephone number, and when I started working for that employer. This is the month, in the month of December, and this is the year, which year I started working. Save and continue. Now that part about was your employer. Now this part is about your job. How much you are earning, what is your designation, what job responsibilities you have. So let's say that I'm a sales manager. I'll type sales manager. So now this part is about your salary after tax, monthly salary. So if you are from India, you will see INR as an option, which is Indian national rupees. If you are applying from any other country, you will not see INR, you will see your national currency. So GBP is basically pound. So you can select either pound or your national currency. For the sake of this video, I will be selecting INR, which is rupees. So every month, let's say I'm earning 80,000 rupees. Describe your job. So again, everybody will have different answer to this because your job responsibilities are different. From a sales manager perspective, you can type that I engage in sales, cold calling, this, that, anything that you want to. After that, click on save and continue. So this section is important, income and savings. Basically, the UK government is checking that if you have sufficient fund to come to UK, and not be a burden on UK government. So if you have sufficient fund, then you need to show documents to substantiate that. So they're asking, like, in addition to whatever you are earning from your job, if you have any additional income source or any additional saving as well or not. So if you have any additional income source, you should click on this. And then if you have savings, then you should also click on this. So over here, other regular additional income, you should select, for example, if you get income from stock market, so you should select investment. If you get income from rent, you should select another income. If you are getting income from pension, so similarly you need to input over here what income you get, additional income from the investment source or rent source or any other source. If you do not have this source of income, you should deselect this, and then you are left with savings. So how much savings do you have? And this is something that you need to mention in pounds. So let us say that you have 6,000 in savings in pounds. You should type 6,000 over here. If you do not have any additional income, if you do not have savings, and you can select on I do not have any income or savings. If you are getting a sponsored from somebody, you can select this. Or basically, let us say that you just want to transit from UK, and you have your employer, he is sponsoring everything, and you are going from UK to some another country, but UK is the stopover. Then you can, if that is the case and you do not have any savings, then you can select this. But in that case, your employer should sponsor you. Otherwise, you will still need to have savings for that, at least some money, because you are even transiting from UK, you need to have some money at least. So I will select savings, £6,000, Save and continue. Now this question, how much money you plan to spend while you visit UK? So this could be different for different people based on how long you are staying in UK. If you are staying in UK for just for a couple of hours and transiting, this should all obviously be $50 to $100. If you are staying in UK for one day, this should be more. If you are staying in UK for 1 week, this should be more. So let's say that I'm staying in UK for 1 week and I want to spend $2,500. So you are going to stay in UK for 1 week and you're gonna spend this much money. Click on save and continue. What is the total of amount of money you spend each month? This is basically your monthly expenditure while at your home, at your current standard of living. So this include all these costs, living cost, any amount that you're giving to your dependent. So if you remember, I inputted 80,000 INR as my salary. So obviously it shouldn't exceed that amount, because if it is exceeding that amount, that I'm not saving anything from my salary. So ideally, your living cost should not be more than your salary. But again, it could be more for you. Maybe you are taking some loan, maybe you are using up your savings. So ideally it shouldn't be more. It doesn't look good if your expense is more than your earning. So I'm gonna type 45,000 over here. So I'm earning 80,000 every month, I'm spending 45,000 every month. So I'll click on save and continue. Will anyone be paying towards the cost of your visit? Again, this is something, if any employer is sponsoring you, and even if you do not have any money, you can select yes over here, and then you can give your employer details over here. Otherwise, if you are sponsoring yourself, if you're paying for your visit yourself, this answer should be no. So will anyone be paying towards the cost of your visit? No. Save and continue. Now this section, date you plan to arrive in the UK. So what a lot of people do is that they think that they need to give the exact date when they gonna come to UK. That is not true, because I wouldn't suggest you book a flight ticket before you have already got your visa approved. So what you can do is that if you are booking a flight ticket, make sure you can cancel the ticket and get refund if your visa doesn't get approved, or book a dummy ticket from an agent. Otherwise, this detail should always be tentative based on the status of your visa approval or rejection. Now let's say that I plan to arrive on UK on 1st January 2025. So this is when I plan to arrive on UK. Since I'm staying only for 1 week, I will leave UK on 8th of January 2025. Now this question is like, if they want to reach out to you, which language you are comfortable in. I'm comfortable in English. I have selected English. They can reach out to me in English. Save and continue. So now it is the most important question, because this basically suggests what is your reason for visit to the UK. If you are just transiting through the UK, this is your answer. If you are gonna visit UK, this is your answer, tourism. If you're visiting your family and friends, or tourism. If you are just going there for business purpose, you should be selecting business. But we are going for tourism purpose, so I should be selecting tourism, and then I will click on save and continue. What is the main reason for your holiday visit to the UK? So again, for tourism, you could be visiting your friends, you could be visiting your family, or you could just be a tourist. We are, let's say, a tourist. Save and continue. Now what you intend to do while you are in UK. So this is very important. Whatever you plans are, the places that you're gonna visit in UK, the things that you're gonna do. If you're attending any conference in UK, you should exactly make sure that you mention it over here. And this is important, because this is something that I'm gonna do. So for example, you can write something like this: on 1st of January 2025, I'm gonna visit this place. 2nd of January, I intend to visit this place. Give a brief about your visit. So for the sake of simplicity, I'm just mentioning that I want to visit historical museum. Obviously your answer shouldn't be this short. Save and continue. Now this question is about dependents. So do you have any dependent? So if you are married and if you have dependents, and then you should select yes. If you are single and if you have dependent, then also you should select yes, but most singles wouldn't have any dependent. So does anyone rely on you for financial support? You can select no if you are single and if there is no dependent on you, and or even if you are married and there is no dependent. Save and continue. Now they're asking you details about your parents. So first select on mother and give your mother details. So I have filled the details over here. Given name is the first name of your mother. Family name is the surname of your mother. This is the date of birth. Nationality is India. And this question, like, has she always been an Indian? So yes, she has always been an Indian. Save and continue. Now give details about your father. I have given my father details over here. This is his first name, this is his surname, date of birth, nationality, and he has always been Indian as well. Save and continue. Do you have any family in UK? So if you have family, then you should select yes, but then you should read what family is actually all about. Family is your immediate family, which is your spouse, children, brother, sister, grandparent, grandchildren, your spouse, your child's spouse, your partner. So not your cousins, they are not part of your family as per this definition. Not even your aunts, they are not your family as per this definition. So do you have any family in the UK? Let's say I do not have any family in UK. I will select no. Save and continue. Will you be traveling to the UK as part of an organized group? So if you're traveling to UK, for example, people from film set, they are going to UK to shoot a film. So all of them are going together. So they are traveling as a part of an organized group. So you are not traveling as part of an organized group. So you should be selecting no. Save and continue. So this question is asking, will you be traveling to the UK with someone who's not your partner, spouse or dependent? I'm traveling alone. I don't have anyone traveling with me. I'm selecting no. Save and continue. Do you have an address for where you are going to stay in the UK? So since I have not even booked my flight ticket, it is natural for me to not even book my hotel. So but you could, if you have somebody that you know in UK, and you can give their address over here, or if you are going for any business purpose and if your employer has booked hotel for you, you can give that hotel name as well. Otherwise, you can select that I don't have any address where I'm going to stay in UK. Even then you need to mention where you plan to stay in UK, and that is where you can give your hotel address or your friend address over here. So type the address. Let's say 123 London. So you can type the hotel address, hotel name. Have you been to the UK in past 10 years? So if you have been to UK in past 10 years, select yes, otherwise no. Save and continue. How many times have you visited the following places in the past 10 years? So all this place that they are talking about, if you are not sure what is European Economic Area, click on this. This is the list of the countries. So how many times have you visited? For example, let's say you have not visited any country out of this list except USA, and you visited USA for 8 times. Let us say you have visited USA for 8 times. If you have visited USA for 8 times in past 10 years, the answer should be 6 or more times you have visited these countries. If you have not visited any country in this list, select 0. Save and continue. Have you been to any other country in the past 10 years? Not including the country that we just talked about. Do not include visit to these countries. So example, you visited Dubai. So you should select yes, and then you will need to give details about your Dubai visit. When did you visit Dubai and what was the reason? Let's say I haven't visited any country whatsoever. Save and continue. So have you ever been refused a visa? Not just for UK, for any other country, for even for US, Canada or any country. Have you been refused asylum? Have you been deported? Have you been removed? So have you ever been refused a visa? So for many it will be no, but for many it could be yes as well, because I know a lot of you who have got their visa rejected, and that is when you need to select yes, save and continue, and give details. What was the reason for your visa refusal? Again, if you need my help with everything, with visa application form, with filling the visa application, you can reach out to me. If you need my personal service, I provide my personal service as well. I will make sure that you fill your visa application form to the best of my ability, and to the best of whatever information you provide me. Click on save and continue. But let's say we haven't had any refusal. Save and continue. Have you ever entered UK illegally. So no. Again, you should read it because it is very important that these answers that you are giving, you should give them honestly, because you should not hide anything when you are filling your visa application form. If they find it out, they will definitely reject your visa. Save and continue. This is about the criminality section. So if you have ever had a criminal conviction, any driving offense, if you're awaiting any trial, any out of court penalty, any civil judgment against you, uh, I haven't had any of these. Save and continue. War crimes. So you should always click on this link and read what war crimes is about, what this question is trying to ask you. So have you ever been involved in such war crimes? No. And click on I have read only after you reading this. Save and continue. So again, section is about terrorism, crime, and such things. So this link that you see, you should always click on this link, read it, and then I have not been involved in any terrorist activities. I have not given support to terrorism. I have not expressed any view that can glorify terrorism. So I have read it all. Again, subjective to save and continue. Extremist views. So no, not been part of any organization. No, not expressed anything that can be considered extremist views. Read it, click here, save it. Now this is about your character. So have you, as part of employment otherwise, undertaken paid or unpaid activity on behalf of non-UK government which could be dangerous to the interest of UK or its allies? No. Which means that have you ever done anything that could be dangerous for UK government? So no. So have you engaged in any activity that can suggest that you are not a good person? Again, no. Anything that you want to disclose, any information about your character? No. Save and continue. Again, answer those questions honestly. Your employment history. So have you ever been employed with any of these organizations? So read it, because my answer will not be same as your answer. You could have been employed with media organization, so you should give details about where you worked and what was the when as you started working for that place. My case, it is not. So I have not worked in any of the jobs listed above. Read what jobs are listed above. It is important to you that you make sure that you answer it honestly and truthfully. Save and continue. Additional information about your application. This section I think is the most important section if you want to get your visa approved, because sometimes, let us say that you are filling your visa just for transit purpose and you intend to stay in UK just for 1 day. So it is important that you fill this detail over here, because sometimes in a drop down type of questions, like you are selecting something, you don't get to express what is the actual reason for your visit. In this section you can even write 15 lines over here expressing everything about why you want to visit United Kingdom. So let's say you are visiting just for transit purpose. So you can mention that, hey, from my country, India, there is no flight to the place where I'm going right now, and the best route to that place is through UK, and that is why I have booked my ticket through UK and I will be flying on this day. And then mention that I'm gonna work for this organization, and I'm gonna get this salary and I have sufficient fund with myself, I can finance my stay. So anything that you can want to mention, you can mention it over here. If you're visiting just for tourism, you can mention that, hey, I want to visit UK. It's basically like cover letter in brief. So anything that you want to add it over here, you can add over here as well. Click on save and continue. But again, it is also important that you should give your cover letter as well. That is your document part. We will be getting to that shortly. So now you need to verify that everything that you have inputted is correct. Scroll down and continue. Now this is your document section, most important section, mandatory documents. I have already made videos on document for Canada and US. You can watch that. It's gonna be pretty similar, but if you want me to make a video just on UK documents, comment and I'm gonna bring that video separately for documents. I'm gonna tell you in brief what document you need right now. So your passport is obviously a mandatory document, you should be having it. And other than that, since you have suggested that you have fund with you, then you need to show evidence of fund, so which is your bank statement. and there could be other document also showing, evidence of fund. If you want me to make another video on that, I'm gonna do that. Click on save and continue. But these are not the only document that you should be uploading. Obviously there are more documents that you should be uploading. So for example, you could be uploading your if you are going just for transit purpose, you could be uploading your end destination work permit or visa. You can upload your flight reservation details if that is something that you can do. You can upload your cover letter. That is something that you should always do. You should always upload your cover letter. Now, I confirm that I understand and accept these conditions. So these are the conditions. Read this condition that if you stay in the UK without permission, you can be detained, and you are, saying that I accept these conditions. Read it. Click on save and continue. Scroll down. So this is asking that are you the applicant, aged 18 or over? That if you're applying for this, are you the one applying for it, or are you applying for someone else? So I'm submitting the form on behalf of the applicant. That is when you'll select this one. If you're applying for yourself, that is when you select this one. If you are a parent applying for your child, then I'm the parent or legal guardian of the applicant who is aged under 18. I am the applicant aged 18 or over. I accept the above. Scroll down. Continue. Now if you remember at the start of the video I said that if you're applying for 6-month visa, it's gonna cost you a specific amount. If you're applying for 10 years, it's gonna cost you a specific amount. So if you're applying for 2 years, it's gonna cost you a specific amount. So if you're applying for visitor visa, I would suggest you should apply for at least 2 years. But if you, let's say for the sake of this video, I want to apply for 6 months, I'll click on 6 months, save and continue, and then I will need to pay this amount, 13,234 INR. Based on your own country, you can get this amount over here. So they are saying that they're gonna get this done in 15 days, but sometimes what happens is that it can take longer, and that is where if you want your visa to come early, that is where the priority service kicks in. So there is priority service for UK. So if you opt for priority service, you can get your visa in just as little as 1 week. You can get your visa in 5 days also. So click on save and continue. Continue to world pay, and that is where you make the payment. So this is all about UK visitor visa application.